Commissioners, your meeting is live.
Good morning. Welcome to December 15th meeting of the Raleigh County Commission. Please stand and join the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Open comments?
Number of good signs we had at scan. Yes, let's yeah.
Oh, boy. And had some public comments.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Ansel, Riley County Counselor. Here for public comment to ask the board amend the agenda to include an executive session during my time at 10:10.
Got 2 pages today. It's a long time.
Okay, I would make a motion to amend our agenda today to include an executive session during the county council's time at 10:10.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to add an executive session to the agenda at 10:10. All in favor?
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Anna Burson, Riley County Appraiser's Office. Just want to send a public little reminder that the Appraiser's Office, we follow the market and we set the values. We're not responsible for setting the taxes. The appraised values are not why taxes went up. That's the mill levy set by the budgeting authorities. Due to the recent publication, I thought it appropriate just to remind everyone. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just think it's interesting, the fact that how we value and appraise things based off of what the market actually does. And when the market has gone up 4.5% on housing just since September alone, how do you work around that?
There really isn't a workaround. You know, we have to follow the market. That's how we ensure that equity. Ensuring that the distribution of that tax burden is fair and equitable across all property. And so that's what we're tasked with, is following the market. That doesn't mean that the taxing authorities have to still, keep collecting on an increased valuation. So that doesn't fall on the appraisal. Our job is just to make sure we're following the market, fair and equitable to the best of our ability. So
To keep getting blamed for 3 to 5 to 8%
Correct.
increases every year, but you're basing it off of what the
market
market is doing, and that's what the
Correct.
market's doing. So
correct.
truly, technically, if you want to solve that particular problem, maybe it's time for housing to quit going up so much. Just a thought.
People quit paying
Paying so
those
much
prices.
It's just it, it's the buyers.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very surprising and sometimes a little unbelievable, some of what you see. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Mhm. Looking at the calendar this morning, it's December 15th already. Ugh, Christmas is next week, is that right? I suppose I better together and get some shopping done, I guess. Hello, Amazon. I'm in a week, something, anyway. After Monday's meeting, of course, I didn't meet on Thursday. I attended the long-awaited ribbon cutting for the University Park Station 110. Did an amazing job with it. I think it's a game changer. Firefighters at that station and just for the community as a whole. I'm just so happy we were able to get that constructed and completed for our rural citizens up that way. And just realistically, all the fire stations we've been working on over the last 8 years or so, even before I was here. So good to have those projects done and taken care of finally. Tuesday, headed to Wichita for the Kansas Association of Counties 50th Annual Conference and Exposition. Great to have the afternoon to catch up and network with county officials who I've gotten to know throughout the state over the years. Got kind of settled in Tuesday, and then of course Wednesday morning started with breakfast at the conference, and an annual business meeting, and the passing of the KAC policy and legislative statements for 2026, which went off without a hitch. No conversation, no dialogue, no nothing. It was just boom. So hopefully that happens every year from now on. Anyway, several breakout sessions took place afterwards, including some on housing, one called Midwest Nice, session on politeness. Go figure. And an update on from the Kansas Secretary of Transportation, Calvin Reed. There was another one dealing with revenue neutral rate. We had one of those sessions, and we had another breakout on populations. I think we had people from Johnson, Douglas, Shawnee, basically all of us. I'm probably missing somebody. Leavenworth. Yeah, so good conversation there. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to actually give a full report on what we discussed. I didn't take place Thursday morning. I was thinking about that after I typed all this, but anyway, that's all right. Let's see. Also on Wednesday, I had a Teams call with NACO's Community Economic and Workforce Development Committee after some opening remarks and introductions from our chair, Angela Connolly. She's a commissioner in Hennepin County, Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. We heard from U.S. Representative Josh Hatter from California. He discussed the newly formed bipartisan Build America Caucus and what it means for important legislation for housing and workforce moving forward. Jared Grigas, our legislative assistant for the committee, gave his usual update Capitol Hill and had an open discussion as well on a few things, and then discussed the upcoming legislative conference taking place in late February to close out the meeting. Then also on Wednesday, went through and attended the exposition there while at the conference there. Had interactive business info, had the chance to talk to several vendors and looked at all the new cool updated equipment and trucks and all that cool stuff. Some people were actually in there trying to play with them and stuff. I didn't go all that far, but still pretty cool once again. Thursday morning started with breakfast at the conference once again. Had a fabulous speech presentation. I don't know how you're going to call it, from former Kansas high school basketball coach and the inspiration for the character Ted Lasso. Starred by fellow Kansan Jason Sudeikis, whom he coached during that time. Thought that was pretty good. Full of lots of energy and fun. Kansas affiliation associations had their meetings and business, including the Kansas County Commissioners Association, to close out the conference. Thursday afternoon, after getting back from Wichita, I had the December Teams call meeting with the NACO's Veterans and Military Services Committee. After a call of order from our Vice Chair, Kat Nichols, she was filling in for this meeting. She's from Spokane County, Washington. I've been on a couple of Zoom calls with her. Does a lot of good work for the veteran services up in the Washington State area. We did hear from a community engagement best practices spotlights from Kim Donahoe. She's the community engagement partners coordinator for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. And then we heard about the overall overview of the mental health first aid program. This is from Cody Clements, client development partner from the National Council for Mental Wellbeing. And Jennifer Cox also gave a presentation manager from the National Trainers Association. The Council for Mental Health Wellbeing discussed that a little bit further, as there was plenty of questions, as you could imagine. We had a preview of the 2026 NACO Legislative Conference coming up. And then Seamus McDowell, legislative staff assistant, followed with an open discussion, gave us some important things that they're working on Capitol Hill on the military affairs side. And then Thursday afternoon, I also had a meeting with the doctor here at Stormont Vale, continuing to kind of hold serve with things to see what direction to head for 2026, just trying to get through the holidays. Saturday afternoon, watched as K-State beat Creighton. They tried to lose that game. They really did try to lose that game, but they held on, won 83-76, I guess I should say. Moved the record to 7-4. Couple more non-conference games, and then real tough conference slate to start out with, including number 1 Arizona. That'll be interesting. And of course, yesterday I watched the Jaguars fully throttle the Jets, 48-20. 6 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. Well, I don't think he's had a game like that since being pro, so hopefully he keeps that up. But still in first place, 10-4. Last time we won 10 games was in 2017, so we're moving in the right direction. Rest of the weekend, I spent trying to get caught up on everything for the upcoming week. Trying to get some stuff done at home. That's it.
Okay, well, let's say Monday afternoon, I too attended the ribbon cutting, the new fire station 110 in University Park. Station's been built very well and so the community long into the future. Ceremony was well attended by firefighters, administration, commissioners, and the public. So it was cold, but it was it was kind of warm inside. So anyway, it was a good open house. And I think everybody's really excited and pleased with the way it turned out. Tuesday afternoon, I met with Trent Armbrust to go over the K-State plans to finish development of the Edge District. Went over all the commercial entities are going in there and the way the taxes are going to be. And, it was really a good presentation. So you haven't done that.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
And apparently it's gonna get reworked again. Between now and like February, yeah, like it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, it was good and it was good visiting with him. So Wednesday, I was unable to go to the conference because I was in Topeka having eye surgery. Hopefully that's the last thing for the year. I had a cataract removed, and then I had another appointment on Thursday to double check it. And hope to have a good checkup next week with my regular doctor. It's doing better than what I had done 3 years ago. So I still have trouble, like all these lights, this points of light. It's just like like that one I can hardly see. But anyway, it's just kind of fuzzy. And
Actually, they're different colored lights.
Yeah, and yeah,
One's
and nighttime.
LED soft, the other one's LED one,
Yeah, it's kind of.
LED clear. Might be another one, I don't know.
Anyway, that's about it for me. I just got through the weekend and hope to have everything under control here by the end of the week. So that's,
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Christmas time, you don't get anything under control.
yeah, well, I think I've got everything that way.
All right, well, after our meeting last Monday, I met with Elizabeth about going over several HR and other things in the county. And then, as I mentioned, we went to the new fire station opening up in University Park. I mentioned it was well attended. That evening, went to the K-State basketball game with Mississippi State. It was very sparsely attended. It was the fewest students I think I've ever seen at a game. And in fact, we went to Mass at St. Idahore's after the game, and there was easily twice as many students there as there was at the game.
It was more important to pray for finals than it was to go to the basketball.
Yeah, maybe so. Then Tuesday through Thursday was the KAC conference in Wichita. Don't went over that. We had two great speakers and some formative discussions. Like I said, talking with other county commissioners to find out we've all got the same problems, just in different degrees. And Saturday at Christmas with my brothers in Topeka. And then Sunday afternoon, we attended Holiday Harmonies. It's the local barbershop group's performance. It was really good. It was really, they do a really nice job. That's all I've got. We can, if those go to work.
First time we have any motion to approve engagement letter of manager for an associate CPA, 2025 audit service.
But make a motion to approve signing the engagement letter with James Gordon and Associates CPA, commencing 2025 audit services.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the engagement letter with James Gordon and Associates, commencing the 2025 audit services. All in favor?
Chair, please sign. And I need to approve the tax roll correction.
I would make a motion to approve the tax roll corrections presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the tax roll correction. All in favor?
Sign. Commissioner need a motion to approve other paying employee action fund to equip grade three residential, and the treasurer's office separation service at the Fountain. EMT, EMS department, separation service, Jackie Castle, new hire, intern, health department.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve the requested Riley County employee action forms.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the requested Riley County employee action forms. All in favor?
Um,
All three, please sign.
First one. Thanks, Commissioner. I think there is.
Go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the December 8th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
And second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of December 8th meeting as presented. All in favor?
Ten agendas, okay, commissioners?
The city county meeting was canceled, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, it was all right. Just wanted to clarify.
Any items for next week, press conference? Okay.
I'm gone 20. Monday, both Monday.
Thanks, Commissioner. Yeah, you folks up at 9 o'clock. David. Morning.
Talking about business meeting, everything free, commissioners meeting. First thing, we had a good discussion on something.
Oh, did you really?
I was kind of just leaving agenda, there was several that changed.
Yeah, that does happen. I was gonna try to stay for that, but I had so much going on, yeah.
Good, are you? Good. Chilly out. It is, and you just. Make a huge difference.
A lot easier going out early this morning than it was yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday was really cold.
8 o'clock service yesterday morning was, it was a little chilly.
Yeah. I was incentive days. Go out early. My dog used to go on out at about 6:30. They get in the groove and they all do it when they want it, and they just,
Yeah.
that's me.
It's kind of like babies, you're on their schedule, not yours.
Yeah, that's true. Lander, I'll be gone from the 22nd through the 30th on business, Monday and Wednesday. If you need me, I can always call me. So far, the other one never cleared up. This one's pretty clear. But yeah, this one, I really like the kids.
That's okay.
Yeah, it is. Oh, let's see. It was like, you know,
Timing was bad because only last 3 years, it's probably gonna be better than city. Or at least training up and.
Yeah, we slowly or big big conferences in this case. This was the morning, the came to the. So that's. The
Oh,
I don't know, we were people or something else.
I think it's actually Saturday.
It's like, maybe it's it. Yeah.
But not if Jim has it.
So
We'll
this.
plan for Jim working.
I don't remember the. So now I'm good, guys.
So we got him. She said, you want something? I said, oh, I haven't had it. Just let's go to McDonald's. I'll have. She said, they don't serve what she said, sometimes. Oh, well, so wait. So we were on 10.
Mine just has to do with funny. So he said some kind of.
I tell you, those nurses.
Oh.
Really.
I don't know what it's like, yeah.
And if you think crazy, when it was like 11 o'clock or something like that. So
Yeah.
I was sitting out there.
Yeah. On there.
So if they're that's so nice. Kleenex. It's just.
Bad teams.
I didn't see how the young lady did. It's not.
No, I'm actually he's pretty sore this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone else is open to reach the fudge in the back there.
Oh.
So, it's not fudge. Yeah, she has fudge, but I thought, no, I was thinking it's like several apartments. It was supposed to be like an I'll email you, or we can check hours later. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And up stuff this morning. Yesterday, I couldn't get my email up. And I just figured after I do it this morning, like, I was entering the wrong. Had the wrong number. So I was entering my password instead of that authentication. What? I know that's the right password. I mean, I just had to change it. That's the new one, but
My
it
computer election probably had all kinds of problems Friday. And now I'll get it straight, so. All these great remarks. Well, we got all these extra added steps, duo and authenticator.
second, yeah, authenticator. I'd say I got it. I put it said in there this morning, going through them. Oh, that's why I couldn't make it work yesterday.
It's good.
So I'm curious to see what Casey does these next basketball games. I won this one, I didn't think really.
And I guess the good news about it is, we got up and almost felt completely behind, but found a way to scratch it out.
We've been kind of falling in.
Yeah.
Loud environment. The crowd was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, teams getting into it.
Yeah.
Off back, no lumps. But
That's really tough to play.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I came there about 2 years ago. It's a conference game that was Rise. They're down. They're not.
Yeah.
We shoot 3 well. So and ones would do it.
Oh, hat.
Consistency.
First half.
Consistency is a big deal with this team. I could see us beating like Arizona to start the year off, but losing to like Colorado or somebody bad, I mean, that's just the discrepancy we're dealing with here.
Like, see how good.
Yeah.
I think that Mississippi State team got him back into, it's a horrible team, but it got him back into the group. It's supposed to do.
So. Ready.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, here to present the 2025 budget amendment. I'll just make one quick comment before I ask you to open it up for public comment. I received a call on Friday. There were questions about what the total change was, and just by looking at this sheet, they said it looks like we're changing it by $20 million. So that is not the case whatsoever. And so obviously down here, on this sheet, you can see what we adopted for 2025 and what the proposed changes are. It is about a $4 million difference. And so I just talked through what these changes were and why with this citizen. So I ask that you open it up for public comment.
We'll open up the budget. We were, okay, the one budget, public hearing for the 2025 budget amendment. Open content. You always got something to say.
No, sir.
If there's no comments, we'll go ahead and close public comments.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. When I looked at the first one, I went, what in the heck are we doing?
Yeah.
And this is a better.
Yeah, I told Rich this morning, I said, I could see why people would think that. And I said, I just did it how we've always done it, and I was like, note to self, now we can change it for next year. So that is why I just wanted to make that comment, but I stand for any questions that you may have.
That makes sense.
Your motion.
I would make a motion to approve the amended certificate for the budget for calendar year 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the amendments, certificate for 2025 budget. All in favor?
Please sign.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Davis at 9:15.
What? I forgot about that. I had forgotten all about that. He sent that to me just out of the blue the other day.
Steve also sent that to me, he sent that to me during COVID. I think maybe I've seen before, it was just, yeah. I did say that. Yeah, I love that. It's like a son. Yeah. Not something you have a little too. Someone's gonna be for it. I knew how you felt about that. Yeah. Yeah, that's why you did it. It was pretty good. Oh my gosh, I'm just, yeah. I sent it to him. And then it was kick out some box of the day we found it recently. It's pretty good. It was pretty good. So it was very cool. I was the operation fishing. I was a little here and she was in charge and she, who would make decisions and could be. You would put that change.
So you got a lot of it.
I have a lot of it. It's way more than I needed. So, so, yeah, you know, sort of, people get a funny, I'll be happy with their, you know, you gotta find.
I found cleaning out stuff. They found some of this from the city, when of course, they rented out 700 for the city. And it's like, it's the cover about bid, a project bid, and it said, these here plans are exactly what we want, you better come like this. It said, once you bid, if we change our mind, you're still stuck with the speeds. We're gonna do, you're gonna have to do what we tell you to do. So, like, I mean, just a whole page of stuff that just, you know, it's bad English, sales are just.
So it's on where line, yeah.
I mean, it was, we did, these plans were prepared by an architect, but actually went to school, so he knows what he was doing.
Actually has
Get my thing, the whole page. It was in a pile of stuff, I was cleaning it out. Yes, and it was pretty.
Yeah.
we could do that.
Yeah, I thought about 3 years. Yeah. I mean, to an element. I think it's like trash. Cleaning out stuff. Clean out for mood and then unpack, clean out again.
Right. Keep us just a year ago.
Well, so at the end, I wouldn't think that was just, I was gonna get everything thrown in the box.
Yeah, it's like everything is like, I'll go to look for something, but oh, must be the other office. I'm not going over there, dig around. You can know where it is over there. Have they started?
Found a camera punch of mine. There was the investigation. Interview.
No, but to go over there and look and see how progress is.
Yeah. Michael said, oh yeah, so that was.
No, apparently that was an interview room when the RCPD was in the building.
They think that's.
I was gonna say.
It would be a really boring.
I acknowledge the revenues that we receive, is, it could be another thing, so it could be, or that's, so we have the, that. Policy to have an increase in the. I believe this is until we also try and do some contributions together, and we have this, things like these, but it's a bit of, I think that's really good. And so,
So it's, yeah. So we're going to. It's fun.
It starts. It's first at some point, but it's okay. You know, the second surgery. Yeah, that's good. Okay, but it's the issue six, like an infrastructure. Okay. You know, I've got a few apps to try to switch it to the right one, it's like. Right, it's more setting, right?
Yeah.
So, but the initial. Yeah, my brother, to see what's the. Get down the dirty. Yeah, 6 month thing, then fix another, but. We're hoping not, this you know, so maybe for you, so. His apartment. No, I said, here today, when I'm here, it's supposed to. Last night, good. Yeah, my mom's always been a firm believer in spin back good money, that's not bad. And that's something we, I never. I think too guilty of a little rusty, you know. Okay. Yeah, always been good. I think this is wonderful. Size of it.
Jan had some football a few years ago. Yeah, not pitching a lot of hers. She was a and says she's been, you know, been also fix her process getting good shoes and just.
Shoes, this is hard.
It's not.
Yeah.
So. But, it's all good shape, make it, and my age, told what you got, I was age, shoes make all the difference. You are getting old. I am. What's the degree? So.
This is digital.
This is actually all those years, yeah, and now should have been trucks and now. It's also some of that equipment and thank God, we should we got what we have now. Oh,
Yeah. A little better, hasn't it?
oh my gosh, yes.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, EMS ambulance instructor with our December update, starting off with calls of service. You'll see that those numbers are pretty high. So 506 calls in November. You've seen Medic 11 at the headquarters station, 205. That's not a typo. On Wednesday of Thanksgiving weekend, the hospital CT was down. So when that happens, then they use the CT over at the Medical Arts Building. So what happens is when they need a CT, we send a truck over, pick up the patient, take them over, they do the CT, and our crew takes them back. So from that Wednesday through Monday afternoon after Thanksgiving, we did, I believe it was 72. So that's why that number is as high. And the vast majority were Station 1, but Station 2 at the Lupton Points had the opportunity to jump in and assist as well. So almost all of them were done over at Building G. We did have to take one over to Wamego because they have a CT. My understanding is kind of equivalent to what the hospital has, where Building G is not quite as to that point, and certain things need that to go over there for those CTs. So, and then what we do in that regard, in that case, is for those transfers, we bill the hospital directly because you can't bill a patient for that. So we charge, I believe it's the Medicare rate, which was a little over $700 per trip. So Omni reached out to us and said, "Hey, what's going on? You got a lot of something going on here." We explained it to them, and so they turned around and had that bill to the hospital pretty quickly. So patients don't receive a bill for that because it's not the patient's issue. It's the hospital. So that's why we're artificially high for that month. So but thank goodness I got it back up and running on Monday afternoon. Helps the patients, helps the hospital staff, and quite frankly, it took some pressure off our staff as well. So, but you'll see Medic 31, 54 calls with the road open now, TCV. So you'll see that number going back up as they start running the calls again as in their area. So as long as along with Russell, we're keeping an eye on the next construction project there up by Tuttle Cove Road. And hoping that we can work with KDOT and not completely shut down that road, but give us access up at the Tuttle Cove. Because if not, then we're gonna have to go down Barnes Road up and around, and that's pretty difficult. So, but you will see those numbers go back the way they normally do. With Station 3 running, more calls than what they have for the last quite some time. So, Station 4 at the airport, again, those numbers should go back down a little bit as Station 3 takes its area back over, and then Leonardville at 28. So, for our administrative team, Josh is finishing up end of year inventory. So, 5 stations, a lot of equipment that moves around. It keeps him on his toes, but the staff help him out quite a bit. When he'll reach out to him at a different station and say, "I need the numbers off of this cardiac monitor. I need the numbers off of this stretcher," because they get moved around. So, but they help him out quite a bit. It's a lot of work, but he gets through it. And And as you know, Josh, he's very well organized. So he has everything in a book and spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff. So we are doing KMAP revalidation. So every year there's some insurance company or some government program where we have to revalidate. So this year it's KMAP. So he fills out paperwork. He goes to our billing company. The billing company has to fill out paperwork, send it back to him. He packages that all up, and then he submits it. So I talked to him this morning. He's just about done. He's got everything from Omni at the billing company. So now he's packaging it all up and going to submit it to the state. So if it's not KMAP, it's Blue Cross or any Medicare or any of these number of different ones. And then anytime the state changes their Medicaid providers, it starts all over again. So but he does very well with it. He understands it. And so I'm thankful for that. He's continuing with the NACO High Performance Academy. We try to meet every Thursday morning to discuss what they're going over, because then he has his class on Thursday afternoons. So we try to meet and discuss it and kind of what they're doing and how it's applicable and things like that. So he's getting a lot out of it. I really enjoyed it when I took it. And but he continues work there. The Highly Effective Managers Program, our captains are in that as part of the county. I'm amused by them because it's something like this. They're like, oh my goodness, but they're really getting stuff out of it. And it's applicable to them. So, but they meet on Thursdays, like it's once a month. Yep. So, but they're getting stuff out of it. Like, it's amazing. So, our evaluations are completed, turned in. It went really well. I do make our staff do self-evaluations because I want them to reflect and look back on things and what they've done, what they've accomplished, and kind of where identify some areas where they can do some improvement. So, but those were done. Everything went well. But they are glad that that's over. No offense, but they were still some participating in the mental health working group and task force when they meet, especially this time of year. They're kind of hit and miss and all over the place. They're still out and about. Josh and Alex are still out and about, seeing our crews on calls and see how they're doing, and just helping the staff and the supervisors as they can. And then event standbys, and I forgot to put a number in here, but basically we had one football game since the last time we met, which was, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We had KSU commencement this past weekend, and then it's really KSU basketball. So we did get the schedule for track and field, indoor track, which is coming in January. That's not a big deal. It's a one-person standby, and it's a couple hours for these events, then come back for a couple hours for these events. It's not an all-day thing. It's more of a yo-yo for our staff in some regards. So our biannual credentialing, as I've spoken before, this was something departments were doing, just kind of the higher performing departments were doing it. It's now state law that we do this. And it's funny how it's written that you have to be credentialed, which means your medical director signs off and says that you are competent in all the different things that you do. But it doesn't say how often you have to do it. And it doesn't say this is how you measure it. So it just says this is what you have to do, and you have to do it, have to have it on file. So our department, along with others that we work closely with, Butler County, Hutchinson, even, we've talked with Johnson and Sedgwick, which are a little different because they have their own medical offices. We've all determined that biannually is the way to go. And our programs are basically the same thing. But all the tests are done, all the written tests are done, and now they're just making sure all of the hands-on has been observed and such. But they're getting close, but there's a lot to that if you think about what we do on a daily basis or a yearly basis. So, but they're working hard. Alex leads that, and he's very organized as well. But working with the supervisors and such to get that taken care of. We continue with our response guidelines, our review, 100% review of all calls. That is just a permanent thing. That's what we do. Our supervisors review them in the mornings before they go home. And then when they meet certain criteria or, then we look at the data metrics and such. The protocol development book is just about done. I've seen a little bit of it. I expect to see most of it or by the end of the year is what Alex has told me. So, and now he's turning his focus to the 2026 training calendar and things that we have going on there. So, he just puts 25 away and pulls out 26 and keeps going. So, and then community outreach. This is obviously kind of a slow time of year. We still do our 1 day a month at car seat check lanes. And then we participated in the Festival of Lights parade. So some staff came in, decorated it. Josh and I bought them pizza. And they had a good time with it. So I'm really appreciative of them. They enjoy doing that. And they think it's a lot of fun. So. And then EMS responses by day of the week. You can kind of see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday kind of dropped off right after Thanksgiving for whatever reason with the hospital and their CTs. But we picked, you think Saturday, 118 calls, that's a lot on Saturdays. But that was, I think there were two days where we did like 14 of those transfers in a day on top of the normal call volume. So, we're, the other part of those is CTs happen 24 hours a day. So there was not a huge drop off in any given time throughout the day because they happen when the patients need them. So, but and then at the very bottom, the transfers, because those are transfers, that's why those numbers were up so high. But that's what they're classified as, and that's how they're put into our system and in the state system. Outside of that, really nothing out of the ordinary there. So, do you have any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Lori, are you done?
I'm ready today. Your offices. This is the color of the makeup. Do you want your offices this color? Do you want a different color? Or do you want the same colors that you have now to say choose?
I like my colors, but in my office, but
And I can have them choose, so.
they should have that because I haven't had them done while they started.
Okay.
It may or may not. I don't know.
Mine needed a patch. They said mine was the Heather's Way at a city or from a recycling center. We're not going to be able to match that. They just, but that's fine. Sure. Yeah. All right.
I will do also these.
Or Sure. Oh, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think definitely. All right, well, if I'll send you those. This is the email, that's what I do.
Do you have my cards? Or I can give you my card.
Sure, that's right. I'll give you your cards.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Yeah. I'll let it take you. Yeah, good to see you. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Your son's this year, son's last week in school, or is he some next week?
Oh, I'm sure we don't have Wednesday, so.
Oh, that's-
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess, it's good, I guess we'll have time to read the rest of the meetings.
Yeah.
See something.
Yeah. Then that's the time, so today and then that happens. One for the family, it's usually the last week, oh, yes, and just keep out there, and let's see, I have another year. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Not very stylish. Yeah, and this is how you go against, so you can't say, well, it's not that, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Are you guys, one of us in family this weekend?
It's a story, so I heard it goes to another spot, and.
That'll be fine, keep it,
Yeah.
Hopefully this one will heal up. The other one didn't. That's why I had to have me referred to. Retina surgery, yeah, because it didn't heal up, and it went in there. Laser or something. But, of course, nobody knows. That's what. That's surgery. I don't think this year has.
Yeah. I'll make it work.
Hopefully this will be. They told me yes, so long.
Lauren? Good, Lauren.
Morning, Commissioners. Lori Muir, Riley County Public Works. I'm covering for Evan. He's on other projects today. Just wanted to notify everybody that the transfer station will close at noon on Christmas Eve, December 24th, be closed all day Christmas Day, back open on the 26th, regular business hours stay open at 7 a.m. And then they will also be closed on Thursday, January 1st for New Year's Day, be back open on Friday. So, any questions? Thanks.
Lauren?
Mhm.
Yeah, close 9:35.
It was large.
I didn't see any different.
Yeah, I picked this up on Friday. I think that revision. I was looking at this animal control thing. It's real. There were questions. That, yeah, and you know, they're transferring these vehicles. I don't think they're paid for. Because a lot of, you know, you have 24, might be on their bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So why have this bunch and transfer over?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a question, came up, but I don't know what else was there. See what I do.
But I didn't have to read the page against, but I could see the page numbers all lined up with the.
Yeah.
Just some correction.
I think it might have been during the executive session. I'd have to look at I left the old one at home.
Sign the animal control contract.
He wants us to.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there's some people in the village don't want to.
Yeah.
Because all the details. There's a.
Just give them a vote now.
Okay. So. Was it 24 or 8 or 20?
So transfer for the time. There's, so, I mean, there's all sorts of things.
Well, we have to sign a contract with the city, they need to sign a contract. Control services. Maybe for the MOU or something. Take over, so I mean, yeah, that she invited so far.
Yeah.
Not so.
What
it is. What it is.
And I said, how do you know, basically, journal, maybe that's what. Oh, I can see. Yeah, that's the question. Sometimes. Oh, yeah, she's so. He just, that's what I've done too much.
Based by the word.
Yeah, I think so. He's trying to teach us five hours. Yeah. Yeah, we got another, because we, there's the fires. Not sure what his plan was. But he would take up executive sessions, and we could just talk as soon as we go. Meetings, sleeping. We're trying to hire. We could never really talk about this is like just. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is a second. It's just weird. And then since I've seen one. Yeah. So. All right. Well, I will. Yeah, true. But I think all email show them.
There's for Megan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Lewis with Community Corrections. I am here to ask for your approval to submit our grant application for the 2026 Kansas Specialty Court Grant Opportunity. We are getting ready to end our Bureau of Justice Assistance grant on March 31st that has funded our recovery court program, as you guys recall. And so in addition to the opioid funds that we had requested to use, we've also been seeking other opportunities to fund some of those things that to address barriers for our clients. So this opportunity is a $30,000 grant. And what we're asking for is funding to pay for our staff training, drug testing supplies and services, our defense attorney fees for the Clay County drug court participants, as well as client incentives, transportation, driver's license, birth certificates, employment assistance, different evaluations, as well as housing assistance and medical, vision, and dental assistance. We received the application on November 13th, and there were many steps to it. So it is due today. I apologize about the short turnaround. However, we did the best we could with the requirements that we were faced with.
A lot of things you had to go through, it looks like.
Yes. There is one thing I will tell you. One of the requirements is that we had an updated best assessment, and we completed that with Judge Lewison's assistance and submitted it. However, the turnaround time, they say, can take 4 to 6 weeks to have that updated assessment. So our plan was to submit our previously completed assessment, and then once we receive the updated one, we will submit that. We received it late on Friday, so we'll submit that updated assessment with our application today. I was pretty excited about that. Do you guys have any questions at all about this application?
Go ahead and make a motion to approve the Riley County Community Corrections submittal of the application of the fiscal year 26 specialty court funding opportunity.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve Riley County Community Corrections to submit their application for fiscal year 26 specialty court funding opportunities. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next question, you have any follow up?
Get to the end of it for her. It was long.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
Guys. I understand any protection.
Well, Greg came up with something about, that we need a memorandum of understanding with the county, and county that too.
Roll. We have a contract. Especially that's today's here. Yes. A contract with the city. So we can recall, we just don't need it. We don't need, but we notify, well, it's just, you know.
Yeah. What we're gonna take.
Just to verify, but they said they were associated.
Some things that is.
Yeah, we're there, it's not in the summer.
They have clarified some.
Left our wives like, oh, it's go.
Seems like transfer.
Yeah, didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to be, you know.
Yeah. There and they're actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not, it's a little more soft.
Yeah. You can get extremely better than the shopper itself is strictly. So I think that is a nice.
Well, there's no, some real, basically.
Like that,
It's
it's not a,
scrambled. You don't have.
doesn't mind, dinner, still eight.
Any of this stuff.
That's not a big.
They don't have room for any of this. Or people.
Yeah, yeah.
They haven't hired anybody, they haven't got an agreement.
It's kind of weird.
So it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyways,
but anyway,
we'll just chat, hopefully, yeah, sort of in. I go a little over.
okay.
It's a defeat thing.
Oh, the fridge,
They
there's.
had no-
But- Oh, there's.
I would take any, I just leave it all there. Great things. Oh, yeah.
That's the emergency services right there.
Oh.
No, for that. We go again, match city size.
There you
Very
go. Good. That's the best. That's gonna be good.
All right, man.
Less of things to do with it.
Individuality.
At least we, yeah, we gave them some feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure West has no idea what we go for Christmas and she's like, what? He sees all the wrapped presents and he's like, did I ever get Henry this? I'm like, no, no. Normally we don't go out until like. But at least it stresses me.
So they go to see. Yes, right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's not. There's all that. I'll have to probably.
You got time. You're good. This is.
Longest minute. So you changed out your Chiefs cup there.
Yeah. Really wasn't a good one. No. My daughter, she was a PT with Fleischman, then she knew right away what it was when she saw it.
What did it turn to?
Towards A6.
Mhm.
So did Michael Parsons. Yeah.
All right.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, here to present the November cash flows. I can't believe this year is almost over. It's flown by. We'll start with economic development. We brought in that $93,542, which is the Make My Move grant. So that's the one the state distributed half of the upfront grant that we were approved for. So that is what that deposit is. And then also we turned around and spent a good portion of that really quickly. So we spent $66,105 and bringing our unencumbered cash balance to $260,565. County building, we brought in $117 and we spent $20,150, bringing our unencumbered cash balance to $365,022. CIP, we didn't bring in any revenue. And then we spent $689,525, bringing our unencumbered cash balance to $28,326,740. Half-cent sales tax. We had a reimbursement in November for $17,487. So that's for the Manhattan's portion of the project that we're working on. They're supposed to fund, I believe I have it listed on here, maybe 75% is Riley County and 25% is Manhattan. So that's what they're reimbursing us for, is the Marlatt corridor. And then we spent $7,216, bringing our unencumbered cash balance to $6,055,093. And then our other sales tax, we brought in $218,770, and we've spent $57,466, bringing our unencumbered cash balance to $7,291,187. Any questions on any of those? Okay. We have ARPA in here. Our balance in the account is $3,102,074, and then just has listed out all of our projects that we're working on with all the expenditures. Any questions on any of these? Okay. Next thing I'll move into is a 5-year analysis for out-of-state travel. So every year when we're kind of working on the budget, we talk a lot, probably more internally than we do when we're probably in front of you guys, but talk about out-of-state travel and costs that are associated with that. And so Rich had asked me to do a 5-year analysis to review the amount of costs in each category. So meals, airline, mileage, and other expenditures. The total amount for 2025 is only from January through September, because that's when I finalized it. And then I just haven't had a second to bring it back in front of you. So here is this cost. So you can see in 2019, it was 14,000. 2020, everything was kind of canceled because of COVID. And then 21, we spent 22,000, 22, 65,000, 23, 83,000, and then 24, 67,000. And through September of this year, we had spent 22,000 already. So just wanted to kind of give you a breakdown on how much we're spending there. It's something that we kind of always look at. I know in our office, when we're working on budgets, Rich will ask us, okay, who's planning on going, on any trips next year? And we kind of budget that in. Some departments budget for those like regular trips, and then sometimes they don't. So some of these lines go over, but their overall budget doesn't go over. So it's fine. But just something for us to kind of keep an eye on. We discuss it a lot internally, so just kind of wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. So any questions on any of that?
I noticed, is it 22 and 24 lodging was a lot more,
Yeah.
but then in 23 lodging was way down, but mileage was way up. I assume they were driving, if it's close enough, they were driving back and forth.
Yeah.
Instead of spending the night. So
Yeah, and some of these, like this was a lot to put together. So I may have like put some in the wrong category too. So just, I apologize for that, but it was really hard. We had to look through every single receipt and like basically look at the out-of-state travel requests that have come to the commissioners and then try and correlate those costs here. So there is a chance, I'm sure, that I put probably some lodging in that mileage column, but I told Rich when he asked me to do this project, I'm like, this is going to take me a while, and it probably took a month to get it all the way through, because it's all I was doing was looking at every single receipt and trying to make sure I was doing the best I could. So there's a lot.
Do you have a process now that you'll do it as they receipts come in?
Yeah, so there used to be a project code set up for out-of-state travel. The hard part with that is that there are several, well, the health department is a great example. So they have a lot of project codes for all of their grants that they charge to. So we couldn't charge it to 2 project numbers. You can only charge it to 1. So if we're tracking it for grant purposes, we need to charge it to the grant and not for us to track for the out-of-state travel. So we did talk about using that project number again, starting in 2026. But we would still need to make sure we add on, those grant funded ones on a spreadsheet separately. So we can absolutely do that. If you want it broken down by department, we can do that as well. Just so you can see which ones are spending the most on out-of-state travel.
Well, I was just wondering if you had a way so it wouldn't take you so much time.
Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about starting in January, asking people to add on that project number, and then we'll put together a tracking sheet, and then I can just include it in my monthly cash flows if you want a monthly report on it.
Necessary.
Okay. But just for internal tracking.
And that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
It'd be easier for you at the end of the year. To
Yeah.
put it together.
Sure. Okay. Okay, so we'll start that in January, and we'll tell staff to put project numbers on it. And then obviously for the grant funded ones, we'll just make sure we add it in. And then on my spreadsheet, I'll have it for kind of total by department and then how much they each spent, just so we kind of see that too. Or if you just like the categories, we can just do the categories.
okay.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Like I say, rather than monthly, just the year end kind of thing.
Okay.
It's gonna be.
Perfect. So year-end report.
If I have the
I don't want you to do a whole lot.
do it every
extra.
month, because I'm sure varies, but just the year end totals.
Okay.
Those.
Okay, we can do that. Is there anything else that you guys would like me to change on any of my reporting moving forward? No? Okay, one more thing, we weren't, at the time, we couldn't put it into, a public format, but, because it's the report from Moody's, so we'll just tell you that we got our rating back. We are still the AA1, which is one of the highest rankings for, our bond ratings, and so, we're allowed to report that, but we couldn't put the report in the public packet. So it is out there on Moody's now if you want to go look at it. That is, I believe, public information now, but at the time we weren't allowed to print the copy. So I stand for any questions. Otherwise, good. Okay. Thank you, commissioners.
Next, we have Charlotte 9.
You ready? Okay. Good morning, Commissioner Shiloh Hager, Riley County Treasurer with November revenue numbers for you. Start off with our balance in the general fund of $6,958,295. Our total fund balance through the end of November, $72,459,125.87. You'll see here our tax holding funds is just over 9.1 million because taxes started coming in here in the month of November. Currently, we have a balance, or as of the end of November, we have a balance in the ARPA account of just over $3 million. And we still have $15 million in investments for our that are in CDs through several different banks. Our investment interest to the general fund as of the end of November is $2,022,480. You can see that's 96.3% of the 2.1 million that we have budgeted for 2025. Our interest that is accumulated in the ARPA account is $216,105.87. The active checking account is currently earning a year-to-date interest rate of 3.96%. And our CD bids for the month of October or November were 3.65%. So I'm going to really be watching, see how what those interest rates look like. But we do have, of that 15 million, a lot of it is locked in right now at an interest rate anywhere from 4.1 down to the 3.65. So.
Yeah, Mom, even though that it's a full year, but right now we're about a mil below where we were last year. We've got one more month to go, but that all goes into the budget aspect, and where you guys can get that, you're gonna make it up one place.
Any more questions about the interest? We have made all of the transfers for this year, so I will point that out. You can see what was transferred into CIP was the 1.2 million. That when we did the budget for 26, we won't be transferring that interest into CIP. So that's, to Rich's point, that was one area that we made up some of the revenues for the 26 budget. And those interest rates are declining. So we'll see what happens next year. General fund year-to-date revenue was 700 and, or sorry, November revenue for the general fund was 705,749, 13.5% over what was budgeted for the month of November. A couple areas you can see, which I'll talk about: sales tax. Investment income was 223,000. And through the month of November, you can see here, we have 36,624,549, compared to the 35.7 million, which was budgeted through the end of November, 2.52% over budget. And then here's just showing you year to date, we have collected 99.88% of our total budgeted revenues for the year. Sales tax, the amount, the Riley County portion that was distributed to us for the month of November was 182,292.88. You can see here that's almost 6% less than what it was in 2024. And it is just right at budget for the month of November. Year to date, we are at 2.1 million of the 2.2 million that we have budgeted. And then the Road and Bridge 0.2 sales tax, we deposited 218,770.10, which is 1.11% less than November of 24. And year to date, we have $2.5 million that has come in for that sales tax or that Road and Bridge fund. General fund, of our total sales tax that the county collects, the general fund is 2.19% higher year to date than it was at this time last year. And compared to last month, it went down about 18.78%. This is your distribution of those sales tax dollars in the various areas. And this is what the November sales tax broke down, how among the different cities and then within the county. Any questions about any of that? Okay. A few things that I just want to go ahead and make sure while I've got the podium, bring to everyone's attention. First half taxes are due a week from today. The 20th falls on a Saturday, so it moves it to the next business day, which is Monday, the 22nd. Payments must be postmarked if they're going to be mailed by that day. We have our drop box in the lobby, so if you want to just drop it by, stick it in the drop box. You can also pay online with a debit card, credit card, or an e-check. There's lots of different options. So just want to make sure everyone's aware that that deadline is next Monday. Also, the treasurer's office will be closing at noon on December 31st to do our year-end balancing and all of our year-end functions that we need to do before we start 2026. Is there any questions, or is there anything that I can bring back for you for next month? All right. Well, thank you, and you know where to find me.
We should pick up 10-10, so now first with the exact.
Second, I'm sorry.
Doing the exact first.
Yeah, I'll do the exact first.
Well,
I'm gonna shoot for 10 minutes.
Go ahead to the next, I'll just tell you. So it is there's a few changes in it. And then Brad Tyler got it. Yeah. Yeah, you get no information in that. It's like, I don't know if I can ever do the tandem read, maybe next time I read it, I'll do the tandem read, but that's. I tried everything. Oh. Is it? Yes, I think so. What's around? We go here and more. Oh.
Then that goes.
Okay, how are you?
Good, everyone's enjoying the fun.
That's fair. I didn't want to be some, but I didn't get it out. So you know, it has bigger. Yeah. Good one. Okay. Well, I said, we can take on, so it's even worse, because I have to go. Okay. All right, guys. You guys have a great day. Yeah, just as. Share. Almost. Yes.
Then play again.
It's almost for a week, yeah, gonna be a week off.
Saturday. The South Dakota and the Louisiana.
Saturday, South Dakota
Dakota,
at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, they're here,
Yeah.
they're very good.
Should have been something now, but South Dakota's had some good teams.
Have they?
We can make some people look good. See, women want to Creighton Sunday.
Tough game. Tough game. I like 43 seconds left of 71, 71.
You know, they've got a couple of those still.
They said, I heard this meeting before this game, he said there'd be a lot of 18-year-olds in the court for both teams.
Oh, really?
They could both really, the couple of the youngest teams in the nation.
Yeah.
So there'd be a lot of 18-year-olds on that court that day.
Those
It's good, definitely. You keep them, you know, that's a key thing. Yeah, it's this whole system, so.
I'm almost at a point where I'm just done watching it. It's just,
I am definitely beyond frustrated.
Went back in after that, when Donnie Campbell stopped, left to go load my car up. So when they came back, and he used to talk to the people, so I went in and talked. He's just a neat guy.
Seemed like it, seemed like it. I looked him up on my phone, you know, to see what he played and all that.
But no, he's, interesting guy. But I had some questions. What about him? He's not afraid to give an opinion on it.
I think,
Yeah.
like I said, I was the backup, was backup, the backup. He had the dimensions, he's a tall guy. Be a quarterback.
1 minute warning. Okay. I was just thinking that it was getting close.
You were right.
Want to know how sore Philip Rivers.
that's what we were just talking about a little while ago.
Did they win or lose? They
They lost.
But it wasn't by much.
3 points.
Field goal.
Just imagine how sore he was today.
The penalty.
At 44, well, no, he's 44, he's the one that signed that contract, come back in retirement, and played for 4 years.
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Oh. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Pretty pictures,
Okay, are we, anything this,
except for this.
okay, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I move that the county commissioners, including Chairman McKinley, Vice Chair Foki, and Commissioner Ford with Jacob Hansen, County Councilor, Ian Vanderweb, Planning and Development Director, recess into executive session pursuant to the attorney-client consultation exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act regarding confidential legal advice on sewer districts, and the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 10:20 a.m.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for reasons previously stated under the attorney-client consultation exception, Kansas Open Meeting Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioners, your meeting is live.
The Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded. The Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Also, that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent in the consensus reached in executive session.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded. Record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Commissioners, Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor here. For the rest of the admin time, I just had two topics essentially to bring up. One was just to let you know that our Prairie Wood case is going to the Supreme Court next month. A lot quicker than I expected, but just got the notification at the end of the week last week. So that is set for January 26, 2026. And it will be live streamed if you are interested in seeing how that argument goes. So there's that. And then the second topic that I wanted to talk about, of course, was what's on the city's agenda. And you'll notice that's the Animal Control Services Agreement between the city and RCPD. You know, kind of going back through some of the discussions and the concerns that the county has had and has expressed to the city multiple times is concerning, of course, the animal shelter and the facilities costs resulting from that animal shelter and who's paying what and what the obligations are. You know, one of the things that we were looking at was hoping to do perhaps an MOU specifically with the city regarding the animal shelter itself. And that's maybe a discussion, as long as the board is approving, that I'll have with the city and the city attorney on that question. One thing I will also note is that in the city's agreement, they do make it clear, I will give them this, they do make it clear that they intend on keeping entire control over the animal shelter itself. And they also have that in city ordinance. However, all it would take for them is to amend the resolutions or amend the city ordinances for that to change. If we have an agreement in place with them, that will certainly help. However, they wouldn't be required to enter into an agreement with us. Our position it would be difficult. So I plan on having a discussion with the city attorney. Please take this time to let me know maybe some things that you guys would like me to
The
communicate.
facility isn't in Riley County,
No, it's not.
so I don't know how any of that actually works. I mean, if they were to pull out on that and develop whatever resolution through whatever legal means,
Right.
then we're responsible for a facility that's not even in our own damn county.
Well, likely what I would find is that the city, they would have to transfer ownership of the building, of course, to us as well, because right now they own it. They own the building. They would have to transfer ownership to us, and perhaps they just wouldn't do that. Perhaps they would just say, you guys need to figure out the facilities portion of that. Good luck. So that would, I imagine, you know, I'm trying to figure out how that would look like if that were to come. Difficult to predict.
But that, don't we need that before the law board will move forward on this?
Need what?
Need that emerald.
We certainly would like to, yes. That's not something we could necessarily mandate that the city enter in with us.
Well, we should try.
I would agree, and perhaps that's something you guys as law board members can maybe, you know, talk to your constituents.
Is it possible to ask for a legal opinion on that outside of the local scope?
Legal opinion on what exactly?
From the AG's office as to how that's supposed to work or not work?
On the transfer of the animal shelter? I don't know if that would be necessary, because as of right now, like I said, it's very clear that the city is maintaining ownership of the building. The question then is, if the city were to amend their ordinance or to basically say we're no longer providing the animal shelter, what the city then does with that building is up to them entirely. And then the question is for the county at that point, what are we obligated to provide as facilities in conjunction with the animal control services?
Which I'm just about positive is going to end up happening.
So that will be the question we will have to figure out. when that time comes. And, you know, of course, we can game plan here ahead of time on what we want that to look, but that will be entirely our prerogative.
Well, and this agreement is on the schedule for today's meeting.
Mhm.
It's what now?
It's on the schedule for today's meeting
Right.
to approve this agreement.
Got 4 votes to table it if everything's unsure.
But you-
Well, this is just their agreement saying that they're, and also part of saying they're giving all their equipment,
Mhm.
lists out all the
That's
equipment.
not the
they're
agreement
giving.
itself, then everybody should.
It's just saying the thing, and that's what I was asking, do we need to, if they have to have an agreement with the city, shouldn't we have one county
Yeah, if any,
control?
Yeah.
if any of that personal, if there's any real property or facilities involved that we as the county are taking obligation of, which is a question I plan on asking, you know, the city later today when I have that discussion with them. But from my understanding and the way that it reads, it's all personal property and personal equipment.
Right.
So that would all just pertain to the RCPD taking that.
But it just, there is something saying this is. RCD is gonna be the, whole
Yeah.
city, and we need, I think we ought to have one saying. RCD is, you know, both county and.
Yeah.
small Cities.
So you're saying have a MOU with RCPD governing animal control?
Yeah. Not the animal shelter, but.
Yeah, that's something we can certainly put together.
Yeah, the crux of the problem, I think, is John's concern is that you understand still used to be an interlocal agreement, different understanding what really color between the city and county. The city became on hard times budgetarily. It gave us 6 months to get it, within the year, gave it to us. Didn't allow us, when we asked, at least wait till the end of the year, heck no, it's yours. Because statutorily, it states county under charge of health department's responsible. i.e., over CPD statutes, the law enforcement statutes say all facilities under RCPD are the responsibility of the county. Irregardless of interlocal agreement, memorandum of understanding potentially at some point, so be cautious.
Yeah, well, like I say, this agreement is just the animal control, the animal shelter is.
A second, a
It's
separate.
gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Says it is separate, distinct from.
Yeah, which again, you know, as long as we can rely on the city to maintain that for the many, many years to come. But as soon as they decide to change the ordinances or change, really just change the ordinances, you know, then again, like I said earlier, it's going to come back to, well, what do us as the county are required to provide facilities as it relates to animal control services? Because as Rich mentioned earlier, we're required to provide facilities by statute, and adequate facilities at that. So.
But then on the building slip, it's coming. I firmly believe that it's coming. I'm not gonna say this year, but it's coming.
But what I might suggest, and again, would perhaps advise the folks here on the law board is perhaps we get this MOU between us and the city, at least adding another layer of requirements for the city to maintain that animal shelter before entering an agreement with the city. So that way, because if you guys enter in the agreement beforehand, the leverage is not necessarily there. They're gonna be like, well, why am I gonna enter into this? So with that, just again, to bring it back, as far as topics, with the city, with animal control services, when I have a discussion with them, obviously I'm going to talk about the MOU that we just mentioned here. And then, of course, ensuring that the property that's being transferred over is just personal property. There's nothing that is going to be the county's obligation within that. Is there any other, maybe points of questions or thoughts that you would like me to, talk about? Okay. Well, with that, I am, of course, open to any other questions that the commission may have outside of those topics. Thank you.
Next, Commissioner Captain Dillsbury. It is 10:30.
Where is that? Oh. Much quicker. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everybody. Catherine Henser, Riley County Historical Museum, here with our monthly staff update. So we'll just jump right into visitation and tours. You'll see for the month of November, we did have lower numbers than average at all of our sites, as well as programs and outreach. It's not abnormal for the time of the year. However, it is still a bit lower than what we were last year at this time. Same thing applies with volunteer hours, a little lower than our average. However, not, well, I should say, increase from last year at this time. So overall attendance at all of our sites, museums, and programs was 265. Those are individual touches that we have with both museum or Wolf House visitors, but also those who attend the programs. And then volunteer hours for the month were just under 200. I won't go through all of the education and outreach that we did. However, we always stay busy. Collections, I do want to note that on November 17th, we did have a major leak detected in the museum's HVAC system. And unfortunately, that system runs directly through our museum permanent storage. We were able to call Thermal Comfort Air, and they were there within 20 minutes and got the problem resolved very quickly. However, the leak started over the weekend, and of course, we don't have curatorial staff there over the weekend, so it could have occurred up to 48 hours of leak in that space before we detected it on Monday morning. There were a number of shelves. It's one section of 4 shelves of textiles and sewing machines that sustained water damage. So all that space that we cleared in temp storage, we had to drag all of this out, lay out to dry. So it's filled again, but that won't be permanent. Right now, everything is up for assessment. We have called our collections committee in who have assessed some of the objects. We do know that some things are going to need to be deaccessioned as they've been damaged beyond use. However, a lot of the items, and we'll have a full inventory of those at some point soon, the majority can be reused. Some might need some minor conservation. There's nothing valuable enough in that grouping that was damaged to require a send away for professional conservation. So I'll have some more information for you in the near future to give you a better idea of how many things were damaged and what can be resolved. Collections and administrative staff have been working together with our collections committee to come up with a draft position description for a contract registrar. This is a position that would be fully funded through the Historical Society, which is the private nonprofit side. It will not be an expense whatsoever to the county, but this is a role that we feel is essential in helping us continue to clean up all of the backlog in our storage spaces. So I know you're familiar with hearing this story. We have about 40 years of backlog items in temporary storage. And the process for going through those isn't as simple as just sorting we keep and we don't keep. These things are associated with donors and donor families. So we do have to go through each object very specifically and intentionally to decide what will be kept, what will not be kept. And then the items that will not be kept, we do have to reach out to donors and offer them back. With 40 years in backlog, we do run into very recently that our donors have passed away. So it does require some genealogical research on our side to locate living next of kin. So that is a very time-consuming process. Additionally, once we choose what to keep, everything then needs to be processed. A record needs to be created, descriptions need to be made, photographs need to be taken for permanent record, and then we have to store everything appropriately. So it's a very time-consuming process. We do feel that this registrar position will assist our curator, of collections, Don Munger, efficiently and allow us to move through this process much quicker than we've been able to move through with the current staff. So the committee made the recommendation to the full board last week at their December 10th meeting, and it was approved. So we do have a job description approved. We have not listed it yet. We probably will not do that until the new year, things calm down and we can get our bearings. But I do want to issue a formal thank you to the Historical Society Board of Directors for being open to that recommendation. And we look forward to cleaning that space up much more effectively and quickly than what we've been able to. In the month of November, we had 5 incoming donations. And just as a reminder, when we say 5 donations, that means 5 donors brought in a collection or a grouping of items. So 5 donors brought in 40 individual items. Those were accepted for inclusion into the collection, and we were able to process 1 backlog object. In the Archives and Library Department, we had 16 individual requests. You can see that 10 were research requests, both internal and external, and then 5 were appointments. Some were walk-ins, some were appointments that were already made ahead of time, and then we had 1 photo use permission request. Building and grounds, as I mentioned, we do continue to clean out temporary storage despite that little hold up with the leak issue. I guess I didn't maybe clarify when I was talking about it earlier, that leak has been resolved. And we are working on doing some shifting in that space where anything near or around that HVAC system, we are removing from the shelves just to prevent this from happening in the future. And this installation goes back to when that area was built in the late 1980s. That's when the HVAC system was added in there. So today, if that were a decision, we would absolutely not allow an HVAC system to go directly through museum storage. But that's what we've got. That's what was installed. Otherwise, it is effective, but it's not ideal to have that temperature and humidity change constantly in that space. Additionally, jumping onto staffing, our spring 2026 internships have been filled. Those incoming interns will be Sophie Lankowitz and Sydney Burfogel. One is a current student at K-State, one is a graduate of K-State. And then we also have our current intern, Billy Klaus. So those 3 interns will be joining us in the spring semester sometime in the middle of January. The first 2 I mentioned, of course, background checks are pending, but we do look forward to working with all of them in the upcoming semester. I mentioned last month that one of our longtime as-needed museum assistants, Lisa Jones, put in her resignation. So her last day with us was November 19th. And we have been attempting to fill these shifts with volunteers since she left. However, we do plan to fill this position sometime in the new year. We will be looking for someone that can work on weekends. And for now, one of our other as-needed museum assistants, Holly Hill, will be taking over the cleaning of the Goodnoe House. That was one of the tasks that Lisa had been doing for us. And then I did mention this last month. I'll continue to mention it until we find a solution. Not that it is a solution that this board is responsible for, but I just want to make sure that you're aware. We have been receiving a lot of volunteer applications, which is a wonderful thing. However, we do not have the time to be training volunteers right now. So it's kind of a catch-22. Those volunteers are incredibly valuable to us, but until we have the time and the staff that can train them, they are currently on the back burner. So I'm bringing this up because in case there's anybody listening, we are looking for someone to fill a volunteer coordinator position. Unfortunately, right now, that is a volunteer position. However, if there's a volunteer out there that would love to do this job, that likes working with people, we would love to talk with them. And hopefully in the spring before field trips, we can fill some sort of need or get our resources pulled together and connect with those volunteers. So moving on to the Historical Society. So this is our private nonprofit organization. The Preservation Committee has been reviewing bids for the restoration work on the Wolf House Studio, the Wolf House porch, and the repainting of the Moses Cottage, which is one of the other buildings on that complex. They did make a recommendation to their full board last week, and the board did decide to move forward with one of those estimates. We do need to reach out to the contractor before I share more information on that, but going forward, hopefully by the spring, the studio building will be cleaned up and repaired. And again, this is just a reminder, this is a Historical Society property. The Historical Society is fully funding these repairs. This is not something that Raleigh County is being asked to do. The Historical Society also kicked off their annual membership campaign, and 2026 rates have increased slightly. However, they have added some additional levels that cover discounts for military, seniors, educators and students. And while it's not written in this report, it was at this time, they also decided to do away with any new lifetime memberships. So they will always honor current lifetime members. However, they're not going to be issuing any additional in the future. They're also currently reviewing applications and interviewing candidates for their society administrator position. We just started interviewing for that role last week. We've received a number of very qualified applicants, and there is no deadline for the applications. It's basically going to be, we'll receive applicants until that position has been filled. And again, this is completely funded by the Historical Society, the nonprofit organization, not the county. So this individual will be under the board of directors, not our HR department. Quickly, upcoming events, we do, I submitted this last week before this event happened. It happened on Saturday. We did a play test party for our new board game, Progress and Peril, on the Trail to Kansas at the Manhattan Library. That was free and open to the public. We had 36 people attend, and we saw a lot of new faces and children. So it was nice to see a different demographic than what usually comes to our presentations. I'll provide some more information at next month's report. This Saturday, December 20th, we'll be hosting our first holiday candlelight tour and open house at the Goodnow House. And then there'll be an open house at the museum, 2 to 6 p.m., free and open to the public. We'll have guided tours, snacks, craft tables, live music, and more. I do have a little handout I'll give you before I leave today. But I invite you all to come out. We'd love to see you there. We will be closed for the holidays, both Christmas and New Year's. The dates are up here. And then another thing, just to point out, January 24th, just to get on your calendars, we'll be doing a program in collaboration with the Historical Society at the Wolf House Museum called Celebrate Kansas. It'll be honoring Kansas Day. That's 2:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon, free and open to the public. And for all of our active Historical Society members, there will be a free gift that the Society is going to be giving out. Also, this is a good time to note, America 250 is coming up in 2026, and this will be one of the kickoff events with our community. We have a rather large committee of about 30 members and 30 different institutions who are all going to be working together to come up with some fun and memorable activities and programs for the country's 250th anniversary. So I will close there. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Morning, Commissioners. Anna Burson with the Raleigh County Appraiser's Office. I'm here with a request to refill a residential appraiser 3 position. This position becomes vacant December 19th. It's a senior level position. It's crucial to the work of the Raleigh County Appraiser's Office. We're looking for a highly skilled individual with 5 years of appraisal experience to fill the position. I'm requesting to post and fill this position as an appraiser 3. If we do not get applicants with the knowledge, skills, and abilities we're seeking, I would request to underfill the position as an appraiser 2 or possibly an appraiser 1. Again, this position is crucial to Riley County. It's already budgeted. With the increased sales volume and continued growth, being fully staffed right now is and always is imperative. I'm requesting position to post and refill the position as soon as possible. The updated position descriptions are attached for your review. Again, this is it's been in place for several years and it is in our budget, and so there's no impact there. And my recommendation is to refill the position at the earliest opportunity.
I would make a motion to approve the refilling of the residential appraiser 1, 2, or 3 position at the earliest opportunity.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve refilling the residential appraiser position. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Oh, please sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
You. That was in.
Else, did you have something? Maybe? Oh, okay.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the December 15th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the December 15th meeting, Riley County Commission. All in favor?